was cardio. I did that. The next one was digestive. Okay, I did that one. Now I put the tabs right where the codes start. So the codes start on right here on this page 304, but I always put the tabs on the right hand side because it's easier to also line up. So for example, when I put this digestive tab, the next one was urinary, and I was really careful to make sure that I did put it like exactly where the next tab needs to go. So what I would do is I would put this tab, right? And then the next one, I would kind of line them up and then put with a pencil, I would kind of line it to see where I needed to put it. And then I would actually close it to make sure that it's going to close nicely. So yeah, it did take me a little while, to be honest with you, to tab my book this way. It took me at least 5 hours, I think. Or more or less. I don't know. I honestly am just ballparking it because I was being very detailed and I was reinforcing it with tape and I was cutting and things like that. So just depends, okay, on yourself, but be organized because it's going to help you a lot for your test, okay? Next. So again, I did that for every section until I get to, because remember, it's broken up to every system. So you have urinary system, female, male system. And look at how fast I'm being able to do that because of my tabs. The female, the nervous system, and then you have the ophthalmology. Remember that these codes, like for example, they all have like a little table of content, but I always put the tab where the codes begin. Okay, that's why you're seeing that first. Okay, so here, the auditory, okay, and then your next one would be radiology. Okay, so now we're going to a new section, and then you have path and lab, okay, and then you have your home medicine section, which is also another big section. And in that class, I will be discussing how to break down this section a little bit more too. Okay, but it's all personal preference. If it were up to me, I would definitely kind of go by this. That's what I do. I go by this. Okay, if we go back to the muscular really quick. Okay, let's go back there. Notice that you have your table of contents, okay? And it goes into those sections. So you have head, and it tells you what page to go. You have neck, so forth, so forth. So all my little sections that I did that I resectioned, I further sectioned it out. I use this, okay? You can do that. It's all based on the reds, okay? So you can do something similar to the medicine section if you want, but it's really not that needed, I feel. But it's a personal reference, whatever you want. And in this case, I wouldn't go with the reds. I would go with the greens, okay? So I would go with like psychiatry, maybe human. I would just kind of like maybe space it out, but it just depends on you for this section. Okay, personally, I didn't need to. I code a lot of ASC and ambulatory surgical coding. We don't really code medicine. For doctors, I do code this for medicine, just depending on the specific specialty. Okay, next you have category codes. Okay, I'll go into detail in the other video of what these are. I'm just kind of showing you what you'll find. Here you have tabs that have category 2 and category 3. There's 2 classifications here. Okay, so category 1 starts on page 755. So I would tab that. Okay, and then your category 3 codes start on page 776. Okay. All right, and then after this section, you have your appendix. There's only 2 appendix that I feel that are important for your CPC exam, okay? Appendix A, okay, page 809. You might want to tab this one too. And then Appendix L. I'm not going to talk about it, but when you go into cardiovascular class, they will talk about Appendix L and vascular family and why this is important to understand how to use these tables. And they've got it a lot better, to be honest with you. Our old books weren't this fancy. Not even last year's, I think, or the year before that were this fancy. So definitely take advantage of that. And then last, you have your index, okay? Now, your index you should also, just like your ICD 10 book, you should also be tabbing that, okay? And these tabs can be found just like a tab reference of what you should tab. Is on the class course at the very top. They're called CPT and ICD tabs. Okay, so basically I'm just giving you a reference of what should be tabbed. So you'll see A through Z. Okay, obviously where A starts, okay, you would put your tab at the top and then go all the way down to Z.